Okay, let me paint you a picture. You've been working quite a few hours in your truck. You're heading out to just finish a load and your truck breaks down. Isn't that frustrating when something like a cable or something small like that breaks and it stops you from doing your work? It can be quite costly too to have unscheduled downtime. So if you have a problem with your cable, with a cable, a shifter cable or some other cable, what do you do? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about a program called F.A.S.T, F-A-S-T, which is getting trucks back on the road faster than ever before. And to talk about this program, we're going to talk to Jerry France. Now, he's the distribution segment manager at Orscheln Products. And Jerry has an extensive background in our industry, 32 years in various capacities, both production scheduling, customer service, inside and outside sales. So he's seen and done it all. He's worked for manufacturing companies and he's managing this F.A.S.T cable assembly program since 2009. Well, sorry, the program was established in 2009 and he's been responsible for the distribution segment in 2021. So that is our guest background. Jerry, welcome to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. So glad to have you here.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So I'm interested in talking to you about this program. I know when we were preparing for today's interview, I saw a lot of correlations with some of my experience in the past with a program similar, but it was for just a different product, but very similar. So I was excited to talk to you about it. Let's get into it right away. What kind of cables often need to be repaired or replaced? And is it one kind of truck or is there various vocations? Just give us a kind of an overview of what this program helps people with.
Sure. I'll paint it in the picture of work trucks. You know, we're all in that work truck type industry, and it could be anything like a mixer truck to a fire truck to dump truck, maybe even the step van delivery vehicles that's running around our neighborhoods delivering packages every day. Anything that's doing some kind of a vocational type of work is the type of thing we would call a work truck. And all these work trucks have some type of a cable. The types of cables you might find on them is maybe a transmission shifter cable or a throttle control cable, and even brake cables or PTO cables. And if you think about it, even all the valve controls and everything on these types of equipment have valve control cables at times if they're needing to be remote operated.
Right. So that gives us an idea of the kinds of vehicles that use these cables. Now, is things trending? Which way is it trending? Like as equipment gets newer and there's a lot more electronics, are we seeing less cables or more? Or what's the situation there?
Well, you do see some technology advancements where you're using more air or hydraulics on vehicles. That's been going on for years. Interesting enough, though, the cable industry has stayed very steady. I've done some research of our numbers over the past decade or more. And our cable numbers aren't decreasing, although everyone would agree maybe those other things are taking some precedence, but there's lots of applications. And probably the thing to think about is these trucks run on the road or are being used for years and years. And so the service side of that is something that will continue for years. And I know we're talking about trucks, but these things go on everything from combines to industrial pieces of equipment and agriculture stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, I've got a low bed and I'm towing out a piece of cat iron and I might have a cable going both of those both of those pieces of equipment on the same day. So that would be a bad day. Okay, so when you go to repair a cable or replace a cable, what can happen if it's not identified correctly?
Well, identifying the cable is kind of the place to start. It gets, everybody talking on the same language. So we're all speaking the same thing. Now, control cables, there's really only 4 or 5 different pieces of information you need to identify a cable. And if you know that, you can put into one of our part number formats, which is kind of a very logical numerical number you could look at it and tell what the cable is if you understand it. So that's where we start identifying it. You need to know what size it is. You need to know kind of what the range of motion or what we call the travel of the cable is. And then you'll need to know how it mounts up, and then finally length. How long is this thing?
Right. So if you get one of those things wrong, it might look like it's going to work, but then what can happen?
Yeah. I mean, basically it's not going to work in your application. If you're going to be frustrated, the customer's going to be frustrated, but it may not fit. It may not bolt up. It could not actually travel far enough to allow whatever it's connected to function properly. And then, I mean, it could even be too short or too long. And ultimately, it's either going to fail prematurely or not going to work at all. So it's important to kind of identify that up front.
So when you have a broken cable, you want to take it to somebody who knows all this and has the training and everything to be able to identify it correctly. Now, when you're repairing these, walk us through like how does it work? And because specifically, I'm thinking about getting like the access to the right tools so you get a good crimp and all that kind of stuff. So when you're trying to fix a cable, is it a replacement or are we actually building these cables for the customer so that they can go and install it on their vehicle?
They're actually building the cable system or the cables on the cable line. Behind me is kind of an image of what a cable line looks very similar. So they have all the equipment necessary to build the cable right there. It's not a repair job. You want to replace it completely because usually it's some kind of a broken part or a worn part or, the threads got messed up. So you need to replace the whole cable.
Right. So, okay. So it's actually a new cable, but it's assembled right there, maybe at the store or at the shop for you. So that's why I mentioned it's very similar to a program I used to do with hydraulic hoses. And even the equipment and the bins and everything look kind of the same. So that I think people who are familiar with that would get the concept. So how can the quality of the cable supplied impact the customer? We're always talking about lowering total cost of operation. So the last thing you want to do is buy a part that then fails prematurely, adding additional cost. So what kinds of factors go into making a high quality product?
Well, time is money, right? So it is important to have a good quality cable. Things that go into it, what I like to mention is that the component parts that these cable lines use are the same components we use at the factory to build it for the original equipment manufacturer. So you're not getting an aftermarket, a lesser quality, a cheaper thing. It's the same thing we use, and they build it in the same manner we do. I always like to say it's just kind of on a mini-me system, where you have a big factory doing it. They have an individual line that they work.
Right. So getting that high quality replacement part from Orscheln is so important because it's a exact fit replacement, same quality as the OEM. So you're going to get the same kind of performance. Is that right?
Exactly.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to talk more about the actual program that they offer and we'll learn about that. So we'll be right back. Don't have a heavy duty part number and need to look up a part? Go to parts.diesellaptops.com or download the app on Apple or Android to create your free account. Looking for high-quality fuel injection for heavy-duty applications? Having one supplier for fuel injection allows you to better serve customers by providing them with a complete line, which increases your sales and profitability. Learn more at ambackinternational.com/aftermarket. We're back from the break, and before the break, we were talking about the importance of getting the right kind of equipment and the tools to be able to assemble a cable, making sure that you're using the right kinds of quality OEM procedures and products to put that cable together and give it to the customer and have confidence that it's going to work for them. Jerry, let's talk about the F.A.S.T distributor program. First of all, what is it? How does it work?
Well, the F.A.S.T distributor program, I'm going to call it's a turnkey system. It's something we've been doing for actually over 30 years. We've had these cable assembly programs out there. We have over 100 around the world that do this for us. But it's a turnkey system, which means, we provide you with the equipment and the tooling to do the different size cables and also the component parts, the stock and the bins that you see on the counter behind me there. Not only that, is when we ship that in, we come in, we set it all up, we calibrate all the equipment, make sure it's working properly, and we train your cable builders right there. And so there's instructions and build sheets and all the technical data that goes with it that will be available, and we'll teach you how to use it. And then we certify that, and then we head out, and you get all kinds of support. You can always reach us and call us anytime. We offer training videos, with the distributors that have a link to a YouTube channel that has a list of questions. I do that all the time about how do I wire this wire outlet or something at house. They can do that with the F.A.S.T system. If you have a newer assembler that's trying to build a cable, he can come on and take a look and see how that's done.
Right. So what kinds of companies do you typically talk to when you're looking for a new partner for the program?
Well, what we're looking for is, if you can imagine, that go-to guy, that company that you think about that you always go to because they seem to always be able to solve your problem. That's who we're looking for. These type of folks are always ones that, they're the type of people that would say something like, whatever it takes is what we do, or you can't sell it if you don't have it, or They don't want to let a cable walk out the door or anything they're doing walk out the door. So those are the type of people we're looking for. And the good thing about it is they come in for a cable, but they may see other things you do, like whether you're selling batteries or fixing drive shafts, or it's vice versa. They're coming in for a brake job or have their truck worked on, and they realize you build cables in-house. So it complements all that. You mentioned hoses earlier. It is a lot like building hoses, just a few more cuts and crimps and a little bit more precision on the tape measure, but it's a very similar technology, and a lot of our assemblers are also hose assemblers.
Right, that makes sense. So these are the types of people that never say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that in stock." They might say, "I don't have that in stock, but I will go get it for you."
Yeah, or I'll go in the back and build it.
Yeah, I'll build it. I'll find it. I'm going to get that part for you no matter what. Okay, that sounds good. So, what kinds of rewards can distributors who join the F.A.S.T program expect to get? Because, you already mentioned some of those little add-on benefits. Well, the person's already at your store. They might see something, but what other kinds of benefits would they get being part of the program?
Well, you think about the business that they're going to be getting into. You're basically, for a really small investment, you're getting into building cables. You already have your storefront, but this is an add-on. So it does add extra capability to what you can offer your customers. But it gives you a really good flexibility. You're not just at a low inventory cost because you're storing your components at a component level, or your cables at a component level instead of at a finished good level. You think about, you walk into a parts store and they have every size but the one you want. Well, in this situation, you just go back and make the size they want. And
right.
What you're doing is you're solving your customer's problem, because when they're unit down, they need something up and running. You can do it quickly with a very high quality cable. So you're solving their problem, and they're going to come back and at the end of the day, just, we're all in business to make money. It is a very, very profitable business for, the convenience.
Yeah. And I think that's so important on the service side, because once people start to look to you as like a go-to resource when they have problems, it opens up all kinds of other opportunities to sell additional parts and service. So like you said, whether they find you because of your cable program or they're already there for something else, and then you can add on the cable program to solve another problem that they have, they're just looking to you as a resource, and that creates good business for you. So for fleet operators, vehicle owners, why can they trust F.A.S.T distributors to provide them with a great product and a great service?
Well, we were talking earlier about the equipment and the training that goes into it. These are factory certified assemblers, and they're working on their particular line. They're very vested in taking care of you as a customer, so they're going to do a good job for you. We come around and we do what we call cable line audits from time to time on a regular schedule, try to come in and check the equipment out, make sure it's working, certify any new builders that have been training, and then train new ones if we need to, so we can keep a good pipeline. So it's these guys are the type of go-to guys that are going to be ones to solve those problems. And that's where you can take a high degree of confidence that they're going to take care of you, because they're, again, using factory certified parts and build procedures to get you a cable that's going to last.
Yeah, this isn't just a one and done for Orscheln. You're looking for partners, not just customers.
Right. The ones who really succeed in this are the ones that can think a little bit outside the box, and they have those qualities that I mentioned earlier about just really focused on service. Those guys really do well. And I want to mention also that when you're a distributor, you're on our website. So when people are looking for a control cable, they can find where a local distributor is. And if they catch up with us and maybe it's a timing thing, factory has lead times and minimums and things like that. We forward business to our distributors all the time. So whether it be a smaller account that they can handle routinely, or if it's a particular order we're just needing them to help out with, that you can get business referred as well. You don't have to go find it all yourself.
You've been listening to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. I'm your host, Jamie Irvin, and we've been speaking with Jerry Franz, the distribution segment manager at Orscheln Products. To learn more about Orscheln Products, visit orschelnproducts.com. Links are in the show notes, so you can just do one click and you'll be right there. Jerry, thank you so much for being on the Heavy Duty Parts Report, and it was really cool to learn about the program that you have for cable. I think that was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for having me. I appreciate the time and being able to explain the F.A.S.T program and how it can help the folks that are in our field of truck parts and service. So thank you very much. And if anybody has any questions, Jamie's got the information on how to contact us. Reach out and we'll be glad to help.
Thank you for watching this video. Click here to subscribe to the Heavy Duty Parts Report YouTube channel, and click here to watch another great episode.